Hey folks, rolling into 2025, we're going to have more lives. We're going to have a new setup. We're going to, or at least an adjusted setup. And I'm going to start doing a lot more of the kind of things that you've asked for, particularly with folks who are subscribers, I guess. I don't. Anyway, but what I want to do is go ahead and also provide more recommendations about books and podcasts and films, which you keep asking for, and also be provide some more critical observation of those that you should avoid. But one that you shouldn't avoid, and I just want to go over a book that I am reading right now, which is Mary Annette Pember's Medicine River: A Story of Survival and the Legacy of Indian Boarding Schools. Now, the Indian boarding school, the residential school problem, the tragedy, is something that is on the minds of many people and should be, as being the direct consequence of policies by both United States and Canadian governments. So it's an American problem. To basically engage in cultural genocide against Native peoples, against First Nations, against Indigenous peoples, to erase everything that is theirs about them. Now, one of the things that we talk a lot about here, and that is important for us in terms of public history, is to make sure that those stories that have been hidden are told as a part of an inclusive, intersectional, diverse understanding of how we got from then to now, how all of us together got from then to now, and therefore how we relate to one another. But a key part of that isn't just making sure that those stories are told, it's making sure that they are told by the people whose stories they are. So if it is a story about Indigenous peoples and the impact of residential schools and the history of residential schools, then we need to boost the Indigenous voices that are telling those stories, and that is this book. Mary Annette Pember is a member of the Wisconsin Ojibwe, and this is as much memoir as it is history. This blends a number of genres, right? So it is memoir, it is history, it is deconstruction, and it includes some very, very powerful information in it, some very, very powerful moments in it that really, if you are an empathetic person, you will find yourself on a bit of a roller coaster of this book, because it does what the best kind of storytelling is by the people who own the stories. It takes you inside their minds, their hearts, not just in their shoes. It puts you inside their selves and the way that they are impacted, the way that they experience these subjects, such as the residential schools, and the way that they can then tap into a lot of nuance about it that somebody who's from the outside looking in can't do. If you're a journalist who's telling this story, or if you're a journalist who sidelines as a historian and you think that this is an interesting story, it doesn't end up becoming this solipsistic way of self-serving way of you just really pretty much talking about how it reflects upon you. No, you're actually telling it from the inside out, and that's what Mary Annette Pember does here, I think, in a really powerful way. She goes through the personal impact of alcoholism, the personal impact of how trauma is visited intergenerationally, and I kind of want to just read you one part of it, which really struck me as a part of some of the kind of discussions that we have here, about intergenerational trauma and about how other people see that and how that has to be managed as a result of this is a product of history and a historical process. And so she writes in her chapter Poking Trauma that since the news in 2021 of the discovery of unmarked graves of children at residential schools in Canada hit the media, many journalists have been asking Indians about the healing process from this painful historical past. The healing question places the burden on individuals and the Indian community alone, glossing over the broader nature of oppression and the structures that created hardship in the first place. Framing resilience as reliant only on personal agency, the bootstrap American exceptionalism myth, ignores the institutionalized violence created by U.S. government and white settler social infrastructures. and then she goes into a avenues for effective healing in Indian country. But the main issue is that this is an issue for all of us to address, and for all of us to address through both its historical origins and its systemic perpetuation. But in any case, I just wanted to share with you. I am reading this right now. If you can grab a copy, and if you want to hop onto a discussion about it, I am happy to do that, because again, this is an important issue. If you want to get a nice companion to this, I highly recommend that you check out a recent film. It was just released last year. I think it's still going around the film festival circuits, called SUGARCANE, from National Geographic Films, and it's about the intergenerational trauma caused by the Indian residential school problem in Canada. But of course, that this is a problem that doesn't recognize lines drawn on a map by anybody. This is one that is strikingly consistent in terms of the experiences of First Nations and American Indigenous peoples, and it has, and because it has similar origins, it has similar impacts. It means that it also has similar modern dynamics. So go watch SUGARCANE if you can. I think it is available for streaming now. It might be on Hulu. It is probably going to win the Academy Award for Best Documentary. It's a feature-length documentary. And again, it's very powerful. It's very personal. I saw it at the Woods Hole Film Festival. So it is, watching things like this in a theater are I think, the best way to watch them. But no matter where you watch it, SUGARCANE is a great companion to Medicine River, to situate yourself in a personal experience of Indian boarding schools, of Indian residential schools, and its ongoing impact in so many ways. Personally, I actually found the chapter on drinking to live fairly powerful for my own reasons. But do pick it up if you have a chance, and if you're reading it now, or if you're going to read it, let me know, and we can talk about it. But also go ahead and pair it with SUGARCANE, so you have a really nice visual storytelling component to add to the depth of understanding about this issue.